A big welcome from FHS Saudi Arabia. Good evening. We are here at the end of day one, and I have the pleasure in talking to Marloes Knippenberg, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Kerten Hospitality. How is it going so far for you, Marloes?
Great first day. A lot of interesting people, an amazing roundtable we just had with our owners, Barca, with great announcements. So yes, day one has been a great start.
Fantastic. Kerten Hospitality, Marloes, you are very much looking at new destinations and being here in Saudi Arabia, especially where the country is just opening up for tourism now, developing new destinations all over the country. How do you evaluate which destinations are ready for a lifestyle-focused hospitality offering?
So we've done a lot of travel, and me personally, I've traveled a lot through Saudi Arabia by train, by car, by boat, by plane. And I think in general, almost all destinations are quite ready. There is not all of the destinations that have the footfall yet, but the beauty of a lifestyle project is that you create a reason for people to travel. And so to put certain destinations on the map, and, the first time I went to Umlush, a place that is not talked about so much, I found entrepreneurs on every corner of the street, concepts that I didn't expect. The first time I went to Afha, I went into this food and beverage, don't even call food court, almost an entire shopping center full of restaurants and very few of the brand names I'd ever seen in my life. And they were queues and everything else. And so I think there's a lot of destinations that have created with their communities, things to do, things to be proud of, and creating a reason for people to travel. What we do with our project is we don't just tell somebody take the house or take Cloud 7. We say, who's the target audience? What does the city have at the moment? What's the kind of audience that we think we can attract? And then how do we build with one of our brands a project around it that puts not just our project on the map, but it puts the project and the destination on the nation. And I think for this, because the population in Saudi is so young and so curious, but so well-traveled and so adventurous, that every single location tweaked can really handle a lifestyle project of its own or multiple.
Fabulous. And, when you do enter on new destinations, what role does local collaboration play in that decision-making?
So local collaboration for us is really almost priority number one. We just launched Cloud 7 Hotel in Rome. And when we say, a new project in Italy, in a destination like Rome, where there's so many hotels already on the map, we put the art curator as the first person in. When we started Cloud 7 in Alula as a destination, we curated local female artists. And we didn't just say, we want to do some murals, let's start this. We put our creative director on. We facilitated mentorship. And we're now on phase 5. And it's really become this location, this destination. But that isn't just, let's integrate art, let's integrate pottery. Every location and destination has something of its own. It's much harder to bring projects like that to life because you need to do a lot of scouting, a lot of facilitating, a lot of translating. But it gives so much more roots, foundation, and story to the project, but also it's so much more inclusive to the people that are in a destination and that you're building with.
But I think not just for the people in the destination, but also the people visiting.
Oh, you're right.
Because the reason for travel is, of course, to experience the destinations.
You're so right. Yeah. But I think it's often a marketing gig to kind of let's meet somebody who lives here locally. But if you have nothing to talk about and there's no reason to kind of engage, it's odd, even on a human level. Yet, if there is a reason to communicate, if there's a reason, to interact, and there's a real, true local connection, all of a sudden it's very different. And again, for example, in Alula, when we did a dirt tour at a house hotel, for example, the lady who bakes the bread used to live in the place. And she took us around and showed us once in the small room downstairs when there's, for example, a wedding, There is like the drawings on the wall for the wedding rooms, and it was still there. As well, you know, she bakes the local bread. She's engaged with the guest. She doesn't speak English, but everybody understands and engages, and it makes it so much more real than just, you know, something that was just gigged.
So next year at FHS, can we expect, instead of the ice cream from today, can we expect some freshly baked bread from your baker from Marloes?
Oh, actually, that's not a bad idea. Yes, actually, we should do that. It's a great idea because it's something, and she deserves. And there's now 2 or 3 ladies, so it's becoming a little following. I think it's a great exposure for those ladies. I think it's a great exposure for the destination. I think it's fantastic idea. Yes, we should do this.
We should talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So your FHS experience, you would recommend joining us then in 2026?
Yes, for sure.
Or even if it's just for the fresh bread.
Yes, absolutely.
Good.
We'll be here.
Marloes, pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.